Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Hoops with Noops. Of course, I am Alex Noops Christensen, and I'm brought to you by the fine folks at FTN. If you haven't heard already, we've merged all our sites together into one place. Again, you can still get all the great content. It's just all going to be under FTN Fantasy, and make sure you check your membership. If you have one already, you should have gotten a little bit of a bump there. Everyone should have access to all the fantasy stuff, and again, just a really cheap add-on if you want to get all the DFS content as well, because as I've said before and will continue to mention, FTN has some really great products, data, tools, access to other sharp handicappers, their bets, and of course the FTN Bets Discord, which I love. It's a really great community of people, not only sharp bettors, but also members, also people who have joined and add some really good elements to these conversations. Make sure you get in there. And if you haven't already signed up, take a look at the ticker below. We'll get you a little bit discount there. But again, even more value now that we've lumped everything together. It's a great time to join FTN, as it really always is. But it's also a great time for NBA basketball, which is what we're here to discuss. Give me a thumbs up down below. Leave a comment with any questions or thoughts you might have on your own. Always love getting betting ideas from my watchers and listeners. You guys always come up with some really great stuff. Appreciate it. Go ahead and dump something down there below. And as always, subscribe to the channel. A lot of great free content flowing through there. But tonight, we finish the pre-playoffs, the first part of the postseason. The play-in tournament wraps up tonight with 2 games. Unfortunately, injuries from earlier in the week have really sapped the energy from these games. They're still going to be very good, though. We should have hard-fought, competitive basketball tonight as teams again, push hard to get into the playoffs. Now, I don't expect any of the 4 teams that play tonight to really do any damage in the first round, but that doesn't mean it's not important to get there. Veterans have a chance to measure themselves against some of the league's best players to see what they really have. At the same time, young players get to see what the playoffs is really like. It's much different than the regular season, and it's always a good learning experience for young guys. So, a lot to play for tonight. We've got 2 games, and get excited. I have bets in both games. I think it's the first time all year I've had a bet in every game on the slate. That tends to happen when there's only 2 of them. So, let's get to it. The Chicago Bulls go to Miami to play the Heat. The Heat short favorites, -1.5 with a total of 206. As I mentioned, Wednesday night, Jimmy Butler goes down with a knee injury early in the first quarter. He was able to finish that game, but apparently sprained his MCL and will be out several weeks, according to reports. As you may realize, several weeks includes tonight and certainly the first and second rounds. If Miami were to make it that far, Butler would struggle to be back, I think, for the conference finals, even the NBA finals at this point, which is a bummer. It really is the only way to say it. It's a shame not to have Jimmy Butler on the floor, a great scorer, someone who's had a lot of really good postseason moments and who gives the Heat a much higher ceiling. His ability to take over games. We saw even with a hurt knee what he was able to do against the Sixers, picking their pockets, creating easy points for the Heat constantly. It makes a big difference. Now, Miami's still really good. Eric Spoelstra's a great coach. Tyler Hero will probably take over the offense tonight. He's a good scorer and a good ball handler. He's someone that I think can push and create and give Miami enough to win this game. And we know how good Bam Adebayo is. The rest of the world may not be aware of Bam Adebayo yet, or they're just barely learning. Really great player, someone who has just a lot of talent, can do just about everything you want someone to do on a basketball court. Again, they face the Chicago Bulls. Played a fantastic game the other night, shot 56% from the field, 42% from 3, well above their season averages, but it's a pretty mediocre to average basketball team. They might be without Alex Caruso tonight, which is a big piece for them. Andre Drummond as well, listed as questionable, and Ayo Dosunmu. And those are tough players for the Bulls to miss, but at the same time, those aren't guys that are getting a ton of minutes for other teams, maybe barring Caruso, if you will, and Drummond maybe in a short role. But again, the Bulls are just that's what they need. They need to have some sort of great shooting performance to find a way to win games. I make the Heat a little bigger favorite than this, but I think the better angle is on the total. 206 looks way too low to me. I have this over 210 points. I think the market just failing to understand Butler's impact as well as what the Heat will likely do from a scheme perspective. Butler, great scorer, but slows the game down. He is not someone that attacks quickly. I think Miami's possession time will be a lot faster tonight, and we should see them push pace. Again, they've tried to do that. We saw how much success they had with their zone, which really is a half court press. It works really well, gets teams to turn the ball over, which again increases pace. That's good for an over, increases easy points. Great for an over. Butler also a very good defender. He's not going to be out there on the floor. So the Heat defense should be a little worse. I expect the pace to be faster. And the Bulls have been happy to run with teams all season. They play slow against slow teams, fast against fast teams. For whatever reason, they're happy to go at whatever pace the other team brings. So I think we'll see a lot of possessions tonight, and this should be well over this total. Now, again, maybe it's a tight game. Things really slow down at the end. Maybe just the shooting efficiency isn't there. Both teams knowing they have a quick turnaround to, play in the first round is really a tough position for them. Do they try to save some energy and play slower? Again, or some of these guys get kind of bummed out and, their season's effectively over after this. So that's really the only way I could see this going under. I expect, again, at least 210 points. So 206, 207, even 208. I'm happy to go over all those numbers here in the Chicago Bulls Miami Heat game. You can grab that 206 over at Caesars and a couple other places. That's pretty much the market number right now. The second game, the Sacramento Kings go to New Orleans to play the Pelicans. The Pelicans 1-point underdogs at home with a total of 210.5. Wednesday night, after scoring 40 points and dragging the Pelicans all the way back to a tie with the Lakers, Zion Williamson goes up, throws down a good dunk, lands funny, and has to basically leave the court, never to return. Pulled something in his hamstring. Again, have not heard anything real specific, but what's important is he's out tonight and out indefinitely. So even if New Orleans can win this game, we're not sure when we're going to see Zion back. It really just takes all the potential out of the Pelicans. He really is what allows them to be great. He's the only star player. And again, we saw the other night, it looked like he was going to beat the Lakers basically single-handedly at the end of that game. Brandon Ingram was terrible. CJ McCollum was terrible. They were both minus 16, minus 17 points in their time on the floor. That means the Lakers outscored the Pelicans by 16 and 17 points when McCollum and Ingram were playing. That's just outrageous. Those guys really need to figure it out. But again, still some talent here. I'm excited to see what Trey Murphy can do. Still some good defenders here, but I just don't really know what to expect from this New Orleans team, and I don't expect anything good. At the same time, I look at Sacramento. Yes, they're missing Malik Monk and Kevin Huerter, and I've talked about how important they are several times. Huerter takes the ball on offense, allows Fox to attack off the ball where he's really dangerous. Malik Monk is the only offensive player on the bench for Sacramento, and we've seen them struggle in those minutes. However, they still got Domantas Sabonis. They still have De'Aaron Fox and a defense that you would think is really bad, but you look, it's league average, which is enough, I think, to slow down this Pelicans team. So give me the Kings. We'll light the beam tonight. I like Sacramento in this game. As I said, playing better basketball. I think the Pelicans really in a tough spot here. Not sure Willie Green has enough time to figure out how to reorganize all this stuff without Zion. And again, with how poorly McCollum and Ingram played, I just don't know what the next move is. The Kings come in again. They've got their top two guys. They should be humming along here. The Pelicans did beat the Kings, I believe, all 4 times they played this year. But it's a different time of the season. Again, the last time that happened was in January. It's been a long time since then. So curious to see what's going to happen here tonight. I like the Kings. I have them as 4, almost 5-point favorites here. Again, I think that they're the better team. I know they're on the road and that home court does make a bigger difference in these games, but put it all together, and I think they should be at least 2 basket favorites here, not just -1 like we're seeing. I'm happy to take the Kings -1. You can find that in DraftKings, a couple other places there. But those are my bets for the night. Again, over 206, really anything 208 or lower in the Bulls Miami Heat game, like that quite a bit. And the Sacramento Kings -1, anything -2 or better looks good to me on Sacramento. Again, make them almost 5-point favorites against the Pelicans tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate all your support. As I said, sign up for FTN. Check out the new site. A lot of great stuff on there, even more great stuff than there has been. Discount code below. Make sure you subscribe to this channel and put a comment down below. Any thoughts, questions, bet ideas of your own. I'll be sure to get back to them before the games tip tonight. Thanks for watching and best of luck until we talk again.